I'm told the Chicago Blackhawks have acquired Adam Gaudette from the Vancouver Canucks. Still working on the return, but again, hearing that the Chicago Blackhawks have acquired Adam Gaudette from the Vancouver Canucks.
Okay, and the point there, Pierre, too, we should make is that Gaudette is now off the COVID list for Vancouver, right? Correct? So he's good to go to Chicago.
Right, and then we'll see what the return is on here as well. But an interesting deal, because we had heard his name earlier in the season in terms of potentially Vancouver listening on him. He's an RFA at the end of the year. But again, Chicago making some interesting moves. Remember their deal last week with Florida, now taking a chance here on Adam Gaudette. All
right, James, that's the latest from us. There you go.
All right, guys, so thank you. That's, again, we're waiting on details, but Chicago getting Adam Gaudette from Vancouver. Let's bring in the boys. Jeff O'Neill next to me, Dave Poulin next to me as well. We have Ray for our own Vancouver guys as well. Ray, you're out in Vancouver. What did Gaudette do for the Canucks? What he might be able to do for Chicago, a team that's a bit of a surprise this season?
He's a big scorer in college. He came to Vancouver and was able to give a little bit of spark to the offense early on. A center who got moved to the wing. He kind of lost his way a little bit this year. They had hopes and room for him to produce, but where he really struggled, James, playing in the middle of the ice, was he couldn't handle the game in the back 100 feet of the ice. And so they ended up moving him to the outside, to the wing, and it didn't really seem to fit there. And then you know how it works when a player falls out of the mix in a certain city. They don't have a comfort with them. They don't have a role for them. You kind of bounce back and forth. You're halfway between two positions, up and down the lineup. He really had a tough time sticking with a team that was having trouble solidifying their bottom six. So a new start, a new chance. But I don't feel like he really put a stake in the ground and said, this is what I am as an NHL player. If you define Gaudette, it's difficult to do. He's got hands. He can score. I don't know that he gets around the ice well enough to really be able to make an impact. He certainly couldn't in Vancouver.
You know, I think a pretty low-risk move, rather, for Stan Bowman. You know, if you look at former Hobey Baker winner, puts up huge points in college, just couldn't find his place, as Ray said. And so there's a lot of change going on in Chicago, without a question. So a low-risk move and a chance to plug another piece in Chicago.
Ray mentioned it, James, that he couldn't really put the stake in the ground to show what he was in Vancouver. I kind of liked what he brought to the table. Bigger guy with some skill. I thought he would get the opportunity to show a little bit more, do a little bit longer there with his tenure in Vancouver. So I do agree with Ray that he didn't really show them the total package of Gaudette. I just thought he might have got a little bit more time to show that, being a young player.
This is the key part for the Canucks. Matthew Highmore is the player going back from Chicago to Vancouver. So that's the return, is Matthew Highmore for Adam Gaudette in what has been our first trade of the day. Craig Button, sorry, we didn't let you weigh in on this one yet.
No, that's fine. But, you know, Ray talked about the back 100 feet for the Vancouver Canucks. It's nice to get Matthew Highmore back. He was a free agent signing, comes in, he's done pretty well. But for the Vancouver Canucks, nobody looks good on the back 100 feet of their team because their blue line stinks. And there's no depth in it. And until that gets improved, you know, everybody's going to look awful. So, you know, you switch out players. Jim Benning has big work to do to get that blue line to be a lot better.
Once again, the pickleball scar strikes again.
Scarface.
That's our first deal of the day officially that we have so far.